Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a topic that honestly has probably caused a few headaches for anyone who's ever had to build a technical team. I mean, have you ever hired someone who looks like an absolute rock star on paper, but when they actually sat down at the keyboard, the whole thing just kind of fell apart? Yeah, we've all been there. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating breakdown from ExpertOnHire, and they make a pretty bold argument. Our standard decades-old technical hiring methods are just fundamentally broken. The traditional interview, it literally isn't enough anymore. So let's dive into exactly why that is and, more importantly, how we're going to fix it. So let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about your own experiences here. Why do great interviewees fail? It's like this universal frustration across the tech world. A candidate absolutely crushes the whiteboard test, right? Their resume is flawless. They charm the socks off the hiring manager. But then, day one of the actual job rolls around, and the reality just does not match the expectation. Why is there such a massive disconnect between how someone performs in a conference room and how they actually execute in a code base? Well, that brings us to Section 1, the traditional hiring trap. Let's look at why this old system fails us. Okay, let's really think about what a resume actually shows you. It is basically a static historical snapshot. You see previous experience, maybe a shiny list of certifications, and a bulleted list of technical skills. But your project? Your project is alive and messy. Modern software development demands active problem solving. A real project needs someone who can adapt to changing technologies on the fly, collaborate with completely different teams, and make these complex architectural decisions that actually support long-term business goals. A resume is great for a quick background check, for sure, but it literally cannot show you how a candidate is going to handle a sudden server outage at 2 a.m. or how they're going to pivot when business requirements totally change mid-sprint. And then, of course, we have the interview itself. Just consider the sheer limitations here. First off, the time frame. You're trying to assess highly complex problem-solving skills in, 45 minutes? And usually by asking someone to reverse a binary tree on a whiteboard from memory while 3 people just stare at them. It's crazy. That kind of pressure cooker brevity naturally introduces unconscious bias and wildly subjective decision-making. But honestly, the most dangerous trap is our overemphasis on communication over execution. Traditional settings often end up rewarding the candidates who are just really good at talking about coding, rather than the professionals who are actually the best at doing the work. When we rely solely on this, we're risking everything on candidates who interview incredibly well but just can't consistently deliver. So, let's move to Section 2, the costs of bad hires, and the hidden business risks we absolutely have to avoid. The stakes here are so much higher than just a minor annoyance for HR. We are talking about cascading, system-wide business risks. Poor technical decisions that literally compromise the core of your product. You're looking at reduced engineering productivity, skyrocketing maintenance costs, and delayed product delivery. And here is a really insidious one: unintentional technical debt. When you bring in a new hire who lacks practical, real-world expertise, they don't just fail to contribute on their own. They can actively pull the rest of the team down with them. They require constant supervision, they struggle to integrate, and they inject flaws into your system that will drag down operational efficiency for years. Actually, to put that into perspective, listen to this quote. "The cost of correcting a poor hiring decision often exceeds the effort required to conduct a more comprehensive evaluation from the beginning." Just let that sink in. Think about all the time spent onboarding, the lost momentum, the agonizing severance process, and then you have to start the entire hiring process all over again. It is a massive financial and temporal drain. It is always cheaper to just get it right the first time. Now, what's really interesting is Section 3, predicting true success. Let's look at what really matters beyond that initial interview. We kind of need to redefine our terms here. True technical success isn't just having encyclopedic knowledge of programming languages or reciting development frameworks. It is all about demonstrating sound engineering judgment under real-world conditions. It's practical expertise. It's high-quality coding practices. It's adaptability. It's not just knowing the syntax of a language. It is about knowing how to actually architect a scalable solution when the pressure is really on. So the crucial point is how these specific practical capabilities translate directly into business impact. When you successfully evaluate and hire for scalable system design, your direct business impact is product reliability. When a candidate truly possesses cross-functional collaboration skills, boom, you get team efficiency. And when they show a habit of continuous learning, they're driving your company's long-term growth. These are the traits that guarantee a project succeeds. And as we've just seen, they are the exact same traits that a standard Q&A interview totally fails to uncover. Which brings us to Section 4, A smarter hiring framework. Let's talk about moving to structured evaluation. The absolute core philosophy of modern hiring is this. It must combine human expertise with structured, intelligent evaluation methods. This is super important to understand. The goal here is not to replace human judgment. We aren't getting rid of interviews entirely. The future of technical hiring is about strengthening your human judgment with multi-dimensional assessment tools. It's about making sure you aren't just flying blind and hoping for the best. And this brilliantly illustrates what a structured process using the ExpertOnHire model actually looks like. It's basically a comprehensive funnel. It starts by defining the exact business requirement. Then you move to technical validation and resume review. Step 3 is where it gets highly intelligent. That's the AI-assisted talent matching. This is followed by a structured assessment, moving way beyond a simple chat and into practical problem-solving exercises. And finally, because you've relied on verified expertise throughout the whole thing, it culminates in Step 5, successful project delivery. So let's look a bit closer at how this specific platform pulls this off. By utilizing AI-assisted talent matching, you are immediately aligning a professional's capabilities with your precise project requirements. No guesswork. You get verified technical expertise, meaning they have actually proven they can do the work. The structured hiring workflows completely remove that subjective bias and those terrible time constraints we talked about earlier. Plus, with direct founder support, you have expert guidance every step of the way. Ultimately, you're getting access to evaluated experts with demonstrated capabilities, which just dramatically improves your confidence and basically zeroes out your recruitment risk. Honestly, it all boils down to one simple, powerful idea perfectly captured right here. ExpertOnHire. Smooth hiring, no noise. That is the ultimate benefit of this entire framework. You skip the static, one-dimensional resumes, you completely bypass the subjective, noisy interviews, and you cut straight through to find the actual talent capable of delivering real, sustainable results. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on the next time you open up a job requisition. Are you hiring for interview skills, or are you ready to hire for real-world technical execution? Because it's a massive distinction. The interview is simply not enough anymore. If you want to build resilient engineering teams and drive actual business growth, it's time to look beyond the interview and focus purely on practical expertise. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you completely rethink and revolutionize how you build your next great technical team. Catch you next time.